Hello everyone and welcome to VVS Modeling YouTube channel. My name is Sebastian and I'm gonna present to you today the Great Wall Hobby 1/72 scale Su-35S Flanker-E scale model. This model is on the market for just a few months and based upon my past experience with Great Wall Hobby kits, I am expecting nothing less than a stellar product. Su-35S is the last of the Flanker series of fighter jets that started in the late 70s with the basic Su-27 model. It is in use now for just over a decade and has been already combat tested over the battlefields of Syria. It is a multi-role fighter capable of engaging threats in the air as well as different threats on the ground, and combined with data fusion, sensor fusion and super maneuverability, this makes it a so-called Generation 4++ fighter with only stealth missing to make it a true 5th generation platform. The model comes packed in a relatively large box for this scale, but we have to take into account that Su-35S is a big aircraft. The box art shows the blue 25 in blue-gray camouflage, while we have alternate decaling options on the sides of the box. Syrian war veteran Red 06 in blue-gray camouflage, as well as on the other side there is Red 03, which carries the short-lived so-called eggplant camouflage. Okay, let's take a look and see what's inside the box. As you can see, the box is quite tightly packed. Most of the sprues are packed into their own separate plastic bags to avoid scratches or other damage during the transport. Already on the first sprue we can see the amount of details that went into producing this kit. For example, the main wheelbase, they're full of wiring, rivets and other details that will make this part of the model stand out after painting and weathering. There are also some meshes that are placed inside the intakes for foreign object damage protection, and there are even very thinly molded the electric lines as a part of the radar radome. The next couple of sprues contain parts for exhausts. Let me remind you that Su-35S uses the thrust vectoring, so the exhausts are a bit more complicated than the normal exhausts you will find on other aircraft. And there's also a mudguard for the front landing wheel. The next two sprues are also mainly dedicated to the exhaust system, and as you can see we have apparently an option to either build the exhausts in open or closed position depending on the regime of flight that you would like to pose your aircraft into. And we also have here the auxiliary jet intake doors that are located at the bottom of the Flanker main intake. There are spring-loaded lures there and are always closed on the ground, and they do open only when flying through the air at certain angles of attack. We continue with the first weapon sprues. On these two sprues we have the AA-10 or R-27 missiles. There's two R-27ER extended range radar guided missiles, and two ET or extended range electro-optical or IR guided missiles included. On the next sprue we have parts of ejection seat, which is a multi-part affair and it looks quite good. We've included harnessing and the ejection seat levers, which are rarely seen in this scale and with injection molding. We also have parts for building up an Irbis E AESA radar if you want to pose your nose open. On the other side we have a sprue that contains the option on what to put on the wingtips of the aircraft, either the classic flanker pylons for short-range IR missiles or the very powerful Hibini electronic countermeasure pods. Going forward, in the next sprue bag we actually have one larger sprue and several smaller ones with some weaponry. The first one includes 4 pieces of R-73 or AA-11 Archer short-range IR missiles, and this next one contains 4 pieces as well of R-77 or AA-12 Amramsky active radar guided missile. As you can see, most of the missiles are molded as a single body missile with several fins already molded to the body itself, and just a few fins that need to be attached afterwards. I think this will speed up the process of building armament quite considerably, if you take into account that there will be minimal cleanup required. The second bag in this larger bag contains all the appropriate pylons for mounting the weapons that are included in the kit. The main star of this bag is a one-piece jet intake, which looks truly amazing. Needless to say, this will really ease up the building of the model. If you take a closer look to the engraved details, they are really precise and very fine, and all you will have to do is sand the small mold line that can be seen on the bottom of the intake, but it is barely noticeable, and all you will need is a few seconds and a sand file to remedy it. Just this intake piece alone is a small reminder of what slight molding technology is capable of today. All the pin marks are inside of the intakes and won't be seen when the model is finished. On this next sprue we have a set of wheels. They appear to be nicely detailed. We have all the details on the rims themselves, as well as on the tires, all the frets and structures. There's also simulated pressure on the tires, making them slightly bulged and flat on the bottom. There's also landing gear struts, which are nicely detailed, as well as the front landing gear strut. The smaller front wheels also have the simulated pressure on them, so the bottom is flat. Other parts on this sprue include the canopy framing, which is a nice touch and has many details on the up and at the bottom, as well as the cockpit top, which has all the dials and knobs raised, so with some careful painting the cockpit will look really alive. Next we have a clear part sprue. I really like how they designed the sprue itself to protect the large canopy and windshield. The windshield and the canopy have the mold line on the center, which will need to be polished, but unfortunately that is a consequence of molding technology. And now for the two main sprues. I'm gonna remove the frame from the back so we will have a better look at what you actually get. As you can see, the whole upper body, including the wings, is made out of one piece. All the engraved details are very precise, and you even get the various rivets of a different diameter. So when all of this will be painted, you will have to be careful not to fill all those lovely details with some thick layer of paint. Lovely attention to detail was put into the gun area, as well as the instrument panel combing, where you can even see the cooling elements for the head-up display electronics. The only thing I don't understand is the solid IRST. It would look much better if made with a clear part. I also have to praise Great Wall Hobby that they decided to pose the flaps and slats deployable. As you might know or not, when flankers are parked, the slats and flaps are always lowered, so this option is now available out of the box. Let's have a look at the last sprue, the bottom of the aircraft. As you can see, the bottom is as nicely detailed as the top was. You've got all the little details, all the precise engravings, also on the tail fins and the ailerons. On this sprue you will also get the previously mentioned slats, which are always deployed on parked aircraft. This model has several things that weren't made before on any other model, like this notch for the slats, and you also have the double kink on the slats, which I don't think was made before on any scale model. A true testimony to the amount of research that went into producing of this kit. That's it as far as the plastics go. We get a small catalog of products from Great Wall Hobby in the box as well, and as you can see, the Su-35 is the latest in 1/72 scale. Great Wall Hobby kits may not be the cheapest on the market, but they make up for that with the quality and precision. Next we have a bag containing the decal sheet and some PE parts. Let's open it up. We get an Extensio decal sheet. The colors and the print is really nice without any offset, and the colors are opaque. We get all the stenciling, all the general details, all the stenciling for the missiles. And what I really like the most is that we get the decals sectioned in groups of where they will be applied. So we get like left wing, right wing, top of the aircraft, bottom of the aircraft, pylons and missiles, everything being clearly designated. This will be a breeze to apply. We also get a separate decal for the box art decal option, the Blue 25, which carries some orthodox icon behind the canopy. And there is also a small thread of photo etched parts. Most of it, I think, will be used as flare or chaff countermeasures dispensers. And last but not least, the instruction manual. We get a 3D style instruction leaflet, which I'm not a big fan of, but it looks really straightforward, and I don't think there should be any problem during the construction to consult with it. All the decal placement instructions are clear, and I really like how Great Wall Hobby decided to include the stenciling for the ejection seat, which is most often forgotten by other producers. There's also a part where you assemble the radar. I don't intend to pose an open radome on my build, but we will see how it goes, and if the fit is good, I might even install it and have a removable nose part. As you can see, the build is straightforward. You have instructions where to punch the holes and which diameter drills should you use for the armament options. Also the several times mentioned slats. And you also have different kind of options for front landing gear door, where some of the models were carrying emergency oxygen bottle and some didn't. So you have to be careful and check references or follow the instructions. Great Wall Hobby recommends that you tint the back portion or the canopy. Also, we have here the location of chaff and flare dispensers, which are represented with photo etched parts and come at the back of the aircraft. Different options for exhaust system. Also, the angles of the exhausts are noted if you want to build your aircraft in parked position with engines off. different armament options. And of course the decaling diagrams for stenciling of the weapons and the aircraft itself. And last but not least, the painting diagrams for all three options. The Red 06, which was a Syrian veteran. And on the separate leaflet you get the instructions for the other two paint options, the Red 03 in the so-called eggplant paint sim, and the box art Blue 25 with the Orthodox Christian icon behind the cockpit. I would like to thank Great Wall Hobby for producing this wonderful model, and I would like to especially thank Mr. Yufei Mao, who was consulting with this project and is responsible for many great details that you will enjoy building it. If you'd like to know how this model goes together, please follow me on this YouTube channel, on vvsmodeling.com, or my Facebook and Instagram pages, because this is the next model that I will build. Stay safe, stay beautiful, and see you soon.